Yes, guys, good morning. Welcome to our today's session. As you know, we are trying to move. So in order for us to complete our CCNA1, and after completing this particular program, I spoke to Nontokozo. So you are going to do also a certificate on cybersecurity. So you are going to get 2 certifications, CCNA1 and Introduction to Cybersecurity. So it's going to be the same as for your CCNA2 and your CCNA3. So for every CCNA you are doing, you are going to get also an additional certificate related to cybersecurity. So as you know, some of you will work as cybersecurity specialists, right? So it will depend, right? So I spoke to Nontokozo last week, even yesterday. Most of the stuff we already covered them, right? So today's lab will be like the final, right? Not really a final, but so this lab will allow you to understand so many things related to routers. So I will go very, very slowly. What you need to do, Nontokozo, you can pause the video and make sure that a packet tracer is running. So you have to start your packet tracer. So I'm going to give you a few seconds. Make sure that your packet tracer is on and up and running, right? So if your packet tracer is up and running, do what I'm doing. Use the device that I'm using, right? Use the port or interfaces what I'm using, right? In order for you to not be mistaken. So if you are late, or maybe you cannot finish up a task, you have to ask Nontokozo to pause the video in order for you to be there. Don't jump to another level when you don't understand. Make sure that for every step, you understand what I'm doing, right? Okay, let's start. As I said, we are speaking about routers, right? But when you are going to move to CCNA2, you're going to learn again many things about routers. But for now, you need to understand this. Routers will connect networks. You have one network here, you have another network, right? This network got like its own IP, this one also its own IP or network IP. So those IPs will be like different because they're in different networks, right? For you to connect them, you need routers, right? So 2 different networks cannot talk, or multiple networks cannot talk. For them to talk, you need routers, right? You need a router. So routers will connect networks, right? Means routers will know how to connect different networks, right? And it's your responsibility now to know how to make your router smart in order for your router to connect networks, right? Like you have one building with their computers, right? Maybe the finance building with their computers and the marketing buildings with their computers. They got switches. Now you want to connect them. For you to connect them, you will require a router, right? So this is what we are going to talk about today, right? So routers connect networks. For those who are writing, you must write. Number 1, routers will connect networks, different networks, right? Number 2, routers will have a memory, right? That memory, we call it routing table. So routers will have what? Routing table. And that routing table will allow your router to learn about other networks and to know how to reach them, right? So it's like you will know where your neighbors, their positions, and how to go to neighbor A or how to go to neighbor B, right? The way you are sitting there in Durban, you know like Umlazi, Gateway, and so on, right? So, and you will know for you to go to Umlazi, which road you have to follow. This is the same thing as routers, right? So a router will have a memory. That memory, we call it a routing table. That routing table will allow the router to know or to memorize all the networks connected to it. So even the one that are very far, and how to reach them, right? Number 3, when we're talking about routers, we're talking about IP addresses. We are talking about logical address, right? So routers will make decision based on IP address, right? Or using a routing table, right? And there's also number 4, when we are talking about routers. You have to know that routers will come with port. Those ports, we call them the interfaces. You have to put those interfaces on before even you to move forward. Number 5, when you connect 2 routers, you make a network. So when you connect like router 1 and router 2, you create that link, form a network. When you connect again router 1 to router 3, that's link form again a network. So if I want to resume myself, I spoke about routers. Number 1, routers connect networks. Number 2, routers will have a memory or a database. You can also call it routing table. That routing table will allow your router to know about other networks and how to reach them, right? Number 3, routers will use IP addresses or logical addresses, right? So the decision will be based on a routing table. So for a router to send a particular message to another network, a router will check like inside a routing table. Do I have this network? How to reach that network, right? And we spoke about number 4. Number 4, it's your interfaces or port, but we call them interfaces. They are going to be off by default. You have to put them on, right? Number 5, when you connect 2 routers, you create a network. That link is a network, right? I can even add more, but for now, let me try to share my screen and I'm going to type whatever that I was talking about now. So we are talking about routers. Right? So as I told you guys, when we are talking about routers will do what? Will connect networks, right? Number 1, routers will connect networks, right? Number 2, all right? We spoke about number 2. You can remind me, the order can change, but gonna still be the same, right? Let me try to fix one. Okay, I can change the order. So routers will use what? IP address. Right? Or logical address. Why it's logical? Because this IP can change. Right? Number 3, routers will make decisions based on a routing table. So your router will have a memory. That memory, it's like a database. And that database, we call it what? Routing table, right? This is what does it means. So I'm making it simple in order for you to understand better, right? So routers will have a memory, and that memory, it's like a database, and that database, we call it a routing table. See how that routing table will look like. So it's gonna look something like this one. We'll just make it simple, just for you to understand. Networks and like next hop. Or I can say how to reach a network, right? So this is the easiest way for you to understand how this works, right? So network A, how to reach a network A, like network B, how to reach it. So it's like something like this one. That memory will have like a list of all the networks and how to reach them, right? So all those details will be like on your router, right? Your router will have to build it, right? Number 4, you have also to understand that the interfaces of port, but I make it like easy for you to understand, are off by default. By default, you have to activate by using what? No shutdown. Right? So all your interfaces are gonna be off. You have to do what? You have to put them on by using which command? No shutdown, right? Number 5, when you connect 2 routers, you create a network. Or the link between 2 routers will give you a network, right? So, and when we're talking about a network, we're talking about a single network ID, right? So the link between 2 routers will give you a network. It's a network, so it's an IP address, right? So those are the things that you have to understand, guys. Routers will connect your networks. Routers will have an IP address, right? Routers will have a routing table, and for them to make decision, they will use a routing table, because for me to know how to send your message, so I have to check like inside my routing table. So the decision is based on the routing table. And number 4, your router or routers will have interfaces, and those interfaces, they are off by default. You have to do your best to make them on, to activate them by using the command no shutdown. So every interface, right? And the link between 2 routers, it's a network. So when you connect 2 routers, you must know that that link, it's a network. Your link between routers and user So when you connect two routers, when you want to link those two routers, you can use a crossover, or you can use a serial connections. We are going to see it. You have to know about this one, all right? So, oh, I think this one is not good. I can try. So the link between routers, for you to link two routers, you can use a crossover or you can use a serial connections, all right? This is what you have also to understand. 7, right? Number 7, you have to know that routers will use what we call routing protocols, right? So for you to configure routers, you have to know what? You have to know routing protocols, right? For configuration, right? You have to know what we call routing protocols, right? And when we are talking about routing protocols, there are two types that you have to understand. It's what we call static route, and there is also what we call dynamic route. Right? This is what you have to understand. So for you to connect routers, right? For you to connect routers, you have to use routing protocols, right? But those routing protocols, right? Oh, okay. Yeah, I will speak about this static way or dynamic way. Okay, let me remove the routing protocols. So for configurations, you can do it statistic way or dynamic way, right? For you to make your routers talk, for you to connect your routers, you have to configure them. How to make them talk? You can do the configuration statistically. Statistically means manually. It means manually done by you. It's you are going to do it, to configure it, right? This is the static way, manually, right? So for you to configure your routers, for you to make your routers talk, those networks to talk, you can do it statistically way. Means manually. Manually means that you have to do it yourself. You have to tell this router, okay, for you to go to this other router, you have to follow this path. So it's like you, when you wanna go to gateway, you can say, maybe you wanna go to Umlazi, right? So you got your point A, you wanna go to point B, you can say, okay, this is the road I have to follow. There is a precise road you are telling your routers to follow. This is the static way. That way will come with problems. What does it mean? So if that road is off, means those routers cannot talk anymore, right? This is the meaning. So static way, sometimes it's not good because when there's a problem on that fixed road, means there is no communication. That's why they came up with what? Dynamic. Dynamic means that routers will make their own decision. Their own decision, right? So when you configured your routers dynamically, means Routers will decide by themselves. Routers will look the best part. The best part to send your data. So if I want to go from point A to point C, so I will look at which one is the best way or the fastest way, right? So when you are going to use the dynamic route means routers will make their own decisions, right? By choosing the best part. The best part maybe can be like maybe at the bandwidth or the speed of the link, right? But we are going to see in practicals. But for today, we are going to be focused on how to configure the static route, right? We are going to configure what we call connect routers using a static route, right? You have to know how to configure routers by using a static route. This is what we are going to see now, all right? And you have to move together with me. How to configure, how to connect routers, how to make routers talk. But we are going to use a static way, right? And don't forget, the static way will have a problem. Which problems? If that link is not working anymore, so routers cannot talk anymore, right? But how to do it, right? We are going to go to packet tracer. You go to your packet tracer. You have to do it together with me. So I will need maybe just 2 pieces. And yeah, 2 other more here. Oh, let me check if you can see my screen. I'm looking for the screen. Okay, this screen is fine. Okay. So you can take the 2960. All right. And we can take the switch, right? Maybe the 2901. And we are going, you can take the 2901, 2901. We are going now to connect those computers to switches. From the switch, you can use any port. So it doesn't matter for now. From the switch, use any port. All right? Now, from the switch, you can pick up whatever you like. But from here, I want you to use what? The gigabit Ethernet 0/0. Switch to router. Gigabit Ethernet 0/0. The same you're gonna do like here. From the switch, you can pick up whatever you like. From the router, gigabit Ethernet 0/0. Do the same way, right? Because when you are choosing your own port, your own interfaces, you have to change. So my configuration and yours sometimes won't gonna be the same, right? Now we're gonna pick up a crossover cable. Remember, so I told you can use a crossover this one, or you can use a serial. This is the serial, right? But for now, we are using a crossover. You plugged on 0/1. So, and there, right? So I'm going to give you 1 or 2 minutes to finish up with your lab, and I'm going to check what you are doing, right? Just 1 or 2 minutes, I'm coming. Yeah, yes, guys, we can try to move forward, right? What you have to do, you must follow what I'm doing, right? Let's do it step by step. Step one, right? I'm gonna try to separate those networks like in color, right? Let's say we're going to separate networks using colors, right? This is like our step number one, right? So it means that you go to your packet tracer. I can pick up this one for my first network. So I can pick up this one too. And remember the connectivity between routers creates what we call also a network. So those are the three networks, right? So what we're gonna do now, you can put some notations, right? This is network one. Network three, I'm gonna keep this one like 3, and this one network 2, right? So it's like you got like maybe 2 buildings, one building here and another building. So I just put one switch, but it can be 10 or 20, just for us to go fast, right? But if you know how to do these configurations, you can do with thousands of computers, all right? Now, because there are 3 networks, right, means that 3 IPs, right? 3 networks, 3 IPs, right? For network 1, let me see where we are. Okay. You are going to choose your network ID, right? We can pick up for network 1, we can use 192.168.1.0/24. And for network 2, that can be 2, that can be 3. So those are the network ID we are going to use, right? For our networks. So first, a network, you see those 3 parts cannot change because of the 24.888. So we can only play with this host part. This is the part where we have to play with, right? So you have to do it the way. So let's start with network 1, right? Now we're gonna move to step 3, assign. You're going to assign your IPs, right? Assign IPs to computers, right? You go to every computer. Remember that this network is 192.168.1.0/24. This one was 192.168.3.0/ and this one is 192.168.2.0/24, right? You must put those notation, right? So those are the networks we are going to use. So from this network, the one that looks like yellow or orange, the orange network, we are going to assign the IPs. The IPs were to computers only. You go to every computer, right? Desktop, you go to IP, you know the range that we are using. It's 192.168.1. This time I want to take .1. I'm going to take .2, right? You assign your first computer an IP address. You must do it together with me. When you are done with this one, you go to the second one, the one that they are in the same network. You assign also. Maybe it's gonna be 3, right? When you are done, you can also come here, like on this one, 192.168.2.2, right? When you are done, .3. Okay, we are done assigning IPs to our computers. Let's move to step 3. Now, step 4. We are going to ping between computers in the same network. Don't use like one computer from other switch to another switch. No, you only ping those computers like that are using the same switch, right? For now. All right. So I can try like on my PC 0, I have to ping PC 1. 192.168.1.3, I think. You can see a reply. So there's a connectivity between them. So when you're gonna come also here, you can also try. You can also see that there is a reply, right? But what we want green network to be connected to the orange network. Why? Because they are in the same company. This is the same company, but they are in different networks. You separated them maybe because of the management, security, and the performance of your network, right? Or the performance of your company, right? So one guy from the PC 0, maybe it's one of the guy from management, wanna send an email to a guy maybe who's like under finance department, right? So you have to make them talk in order for those computers to reach those other computers. Sometimes those computers, they can try to access the applications from this side. So there must be the connectivity. Now you can see the red one. Why they are red? Because as you know that the connectivity or the links or the interfaces from the routers are always off by default. We have to put them on by using no shutdown command. So the following steps of step number 5. Step number 5, the interfaces must be on. Interfaces must be what? Must be on by using which command? No shutdown.
No.
Right? This is step number 5. Right? You remember, guys, the interfaces we used. This one was gigabit 0/1 and no 0/0, and here we used, I can even put some notation. This one was 0/0. Guys, please, 0/0. This one was gigabit 0/1. Guys, sorry, if you're not talking, you can go outside, please.
Okay, sir.
All right, so you must know first. You can even take a pen, right? You know that what are you? Sorry, guys, please. You have to know your interfaces. You can see that there are 4 here. A gigabit 0/0, we have to activate this one, right? There is gigabit 0/1. We have to activate it, the same as here and here, right? So the port that we have to activate is what? Is this one? There is this one, right? Those are from those 2 routers. Those 2 routers. So those are the interfaces you have to put them on, right? So what you're gonna do, we can try to console, right? You just plug your console cable like there, right? And like here also we can pick up one of the PC, right? So what you must do, you go to your computer because you wanna configure your router. No, you go to terminal. All right. You must say no. Enable configure terminal. Right. From here now, what we need to do, right? What we need to do now. My camera, okay, let me fix my camera. I got a problem with it. So, okay, what you must do now, we have to know which interface we need to activate, right? It's this one. So I'm gonna start with this gigabit 0/0. So you can just say interface gigabit 0/0, and you press like enter. So what you're gonna say, no shutdown. Right? You can see it's starting being green. When you are done, there is the second one, but you have to exit first. You exit, you can bring it back. Sometimes don't try to repeat, like typing the same things. You can press the up arrow key. You just press that. You press again and you remove, you put 1. Right? So when you press the up arrow key, so it will start bringing the previous comment that you used. So you can get what you are looking. So there is 1, no shutdown, and you are done, right? When you are done with router 1, you must do it also on router 2. We're gonna go to the second router. Mine it says router 1, huh? Okay, the second router. I'm gonna do the same thing. All right. You're gonna say no. Enable config interface 0/0, and you say no shutdown. From here, you have to exit because you are under this interface, right? You have to exit. and you said again, right? It's 1, no shutdown, again, right? You're gonna see that it's green like everywhere. You have to wait for a few seconds. It's gonna be green like everywhere, all right? When you are done with that one, we're gonna move to the next step. Next step, you have to assign IP to your interfaces. To your interfaces, this ender. This is what we are going now to do. We are going to assign IP to those interfaces, right? What you have to do, the comment is very easy. You must be first like under that interface, and you said IP address, right? Let's do it. You go to packet tracer. We're gonna start with this one, right? But remember, the orange network is 192.168.1.0, right? So this one, this gigabit 0/0, I'm gonna give it .1. We're going to console. You have to exit. Which one? So I want to assign. I want this gigabit 0/0. So I'm gonna start with this one. You have to precise it first. 0/0, right? You must type this interface gigabit 0/0. Don't follow what I'm doing here. You press what? You enter. IP address. So the IP address 192.168.1.1, and you have to add the subnet mask 255.255.255.0, right? So because that router is connected to this network, right? That link is under this network. So this is the default gateway for those computers. All right? You exit, right? Now we are going to assign also what? The gigabit 0/1. But what is their network? It's this one. So this one can be .1, this other one can be .2. All right? So we are moving to this port. We're still on router 0, gigabit 0/1. You have to assign it an IP address, but the IP from this range, the .3 one. So interface, gigabit 0/1, IP address 192.168.3.1, 55.54.0. Done. All right. Now, because, okay, now we're gonna move to router 1, my second router. Sometimes I'm calling it router 2 because it's the second router. We're gonna do the same. We're gonna assign this one an IP address and this other one. Remember, this one is under the green network, the 192.168.2.0. You have to exit first. Now, FS 0/0. IP address 192.168.2.1. You have to put your subnet mask. Press enter. Enter. Exit. Now one left, it's this one, the gigabit 0/1. But remember, so the network is what? It's this one, right? So it's gonna be interface gigabit 0/1, IP address 192.168.3.2 because I already used .1 to 55 to Z. Enter. right? Now, we are done with assigning the IP addresses, right? What you must do the following step. So step 6 done. Step 7, what we are going to do now, give computers their default gateway, right? So for every computer, you must assign it a default gateway. So the IP address of the router, right? So you see like here, this is the default gateway, the gigabit 0/0. You go to PC1, you go to IP. So default gateway is 192.168.1.1. When you are done, you go to PC2, default gateway the same, 192.1.1. Please, can you switch it off first? Let me finish up here. So you can try to ping the default gateway. So you wanna see if you can talk to the router or to the wireless access point. Sometimes users cannot communicate because they cannot even talk to the wireless access point or to your routers and so on. So you can try to ping the default gateway. So we are done with the Orange network. We can do the same here. We are assigning the default gateway 192.168.2.1. You come here, 192.168.2.1, right? Okay. Right? Now, when you are done, you can also try to ping if you want. You can ping the default gateway just to make sure that they can talk to the router so you can get a reply. That's fine. Now, what we're gonna do, let's try one of the computers from the Orange network to try to communicate with a computer from the green one. So I'm gonna go to PC0, command prompt. I'm gonna try to ping 192.168.2.2. You can see what destination host unreachable. So these computers cannot talk to this one. What to do? This is where you have to configure now what? Routing protocols, right? But you remember that you can configure those routers statistically or dynamically. Routing protocols comes when we're talking about dynamic, right? Let's do it by using statistically way, right? We are going to create a static route. Static route means a fixed route. We are going to teach this router how to reach this network. And we are going also to teach this router one how to reach this network, right? So we are going to build the routing table. Means we are going to tell router 0 how to reach this network. And we are going also to let router 1 how to reach the green or the orange network, right? So I'm gonna go, we said step. Configure static routes means teach routers how to reach like other networks. This is the meaning, right? So what we're gonna do, you must go to router 1. And what is the command? The command is very easy. It's IP route. So this IP route must always be there. You're gonna type this IP route like on router 1, but you must be like you must be in configuration mode. You're gonna say IP route, right? Destination network, subnet mask, and next hop IP. So there's a destination network. That's gonna be the second part. There is a subnet mask. So, and there is what? The next hop. Right? So you're gonna type this IP route, you add the network that you wanna reach and the subnet mask of that network. So, and the interfaces that will allow your data to come in. Right? So you type IP route, you precise the network that you wanna reach, followed by the subnet mask, and which interface will allow your data to come in. Right? Let's do it. So I'm gonna go to router 1. Right? Okay. Let's configure first router 1, terminal. Right? So what we're gonna do, you exit first. Now you say IP route, because like I'm on router 1, so I wanna reach this green network. What is their network ID? 192.168.2.0. Because we are dealing with networks, we have to tell router 0, the first router, how to reach this network ID. IP route 192.168.2.0, followed by the subnet mask 0, followed by what? Next hop IP. Next hop IP is the IP address of this interface, because it's because of this interface data can come in. So data can come from green to other network. So from here, the exit port from the router 1, right? From the second router. So we're gonna take this IP address. You remember that IP, it was .3.2. Oh, I don't know even. What have I done? Okay. Oh, so I never finish it. I said we have to add the second one. It's 192.168.3.2. So you can see that the comment is IP route, followed by what? The network that you wanna reach, followed by the subnet mask of the network that you wanna reach, followed by the interface the IP address of the interface that will allow your data to come in from that network. So this network will have this interface here, and you say enter. When you are done, you can go to router 2 or the second router, but mine it says router 1. You can do the same things, right? You can console, terminal, you exit, you're gonna say IP route, but IP route, which network you wanna reach? You wanna reach this orange network, 192.168.1.0. It's a network ID, followed by its subnet is 24, means 255.255.255.0, right? Followed by what? Followed by the IP address of the network that I wanna reach. The IP address of the next hop, this router, this IP, the network of gigabit 0/1. You remember it's 3.1. So it's gonna be 192.168.3.1, and you say enter, right? Because we are done, let's try to check the connectivity, right? And go to ping and see what's left for us to do, right? Okay, you can see now there is a reply. So those computers from this side can talk to those other computers from that other side, right? Very, very clear, right? So I can come also to this network. I can do the same thing. Comment prompts. One of the computers from that side. You can see there is what? There is a reply, all right? So do this, make sure that you understand, and I'm going to give you another exercise. Thank you very much for your questions. Send them to Notocos.